turn our attention, though, to Manchester United for the moment, because they've made their move now for Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba. And things look, Anton, to be advancing fairly quickly.
Out of nowhere.
In this one,
right?
Seemingly out of nowhere.
Well, look, we know Baleba's been a long-term target for Manchester United. And now it appears that the two clubs, with Brighton and Manchester United, are in discussions about a deal. Now, a deal hasn't actually been sorted just yet, but it's thought a fee of around £60 million plus add-ons might be enough to get this deal done. And we understand there's also a 5-year contract waiting on the table for the Cameroon midfielder. Now, like I said, he's a player that Manchester United have wanted for a long time. And I think they've clearly gone, well, his value may have dipped. He didn't necessarily have the best season last season, so now's the time they want to strike and bring him in. An interesting thing is as well, obviously, he is out injured at the moment. He's got an ankle problem, so he's expected to be back fully fit in about a month's time. Mid-September is what we're being told. So it's one for Manchester United. They've already brought in 2 other midfielders, so I think they're pretty well stocked in that position. So I think they're just feeling the fact that, look, there's a target available. We've wanted him for ages. Let's go get him. And at a slightly lower price than originally advertised sort of a year ago or so. Jeff, is he the player that United need? Is he what they need in midfield?
I think so, yeah. I know he didn't probably live up to the price tag from last year, but the legs he has, the energy is something Man United really need. He's actually a really, really good player at receiving the ball and moving it on through the thirds, I suppose. So I think he's a fantastic sign, and to get him cheaper than they couldn't last year is a bonus.
Yeah, here he is in action as well.
It's not a bad highlight reel, that, is it? That's, yeah.
Just superb as well, isn't he? When you look at the drop in valuation for him as well, Anton, just give us, because we've mentioned it, but what are the figures we're talking about, right, and what have the changes been, really? I mean, you look at that and you can see why they want him, but look, there has been a drop in form.
United wanted him 2 years ago, a year ago, and you know they were quoted £100 million, and at the time, Manchester United said, no, that's too much. We haven't got that money. We want to spend it on other positions. And obviously last season didn't quite go according to plan. If you look at his statistics, some of the metrics kind of dropped in terms of ball recoveries and retention and passing accuracy and all that kind of thing. But Manchester United just there going, well, OK, fine, that might cause some red flags. But that's also caused his market value to drop by, what, 35, 40%? That's staggering in a year. So if you believe in your scouting system and you believe in the player that you've been tracking for the last 3 years, well, that's the time you go and get him, right? And I'm sure some United fans will be going, hang on a minute, where's our left back and our centre back? But I think United are just going, there's an opportunity here to get a player that we believe we can mould into whatever we want him to be. Don't write him off on 1 year, which didn't quite go according to plan. We think we can get someone out of him.
I was about to be really impressed with your percentages working out there in your maths and realise actually when you go from 100 million down,
yeah,
that's really simple.
That's my kind of maths.
Yeah, I take it back. It's my kind of maths too, but I still struggled. Jeff, what else or who else do United need this summer?
Yeah, I think they need to strengthen their defence. For me, if you look at it, sort of the same back four, the reliable back four they've had for a few years now. They were interested, I know, in Lewis Hall, a left back. That's obviously an area that they want to bring someone in, and then seems to be no negotiations for there. So I think they do need to freshen up their defence for sure.
On our website, we've got a Manchester United Q&A going, and there are a fair few fans that have actually been quite concerned about their summer business so far. So I'm going to put both of these to you. And we've kind of mentioned this already, but Joshua has been asking, is Carlos Baleba the right option for Manchester United, considering those struggles last season? Can you see him getting back to where he was when there was that £100 million valuation on him?
United can. And that's the most important thing, right? They're scouting a player they've been watching for 2 or 3 years, not just a player from last season, and they'll point to the fact that obviously he missed a little bit of time with injury. But the main thing is that they think he's a player that, you know, he was supposed to be the guy that came in for Moises Caicedo and they didn't miss a beat. Well, that's the player that Manchester United think they're signing, right? And he's still young enough to get better. And remember, there's some good players in that midfield he's probably going to work with and learn from. If you're going to want to be a top midfielder, if you've got Yuri Tielemans next year, that's not a bad person to play alongside, is it?
Yeah, and maybe learn off Michael Carrick as well.
Oh, yeah.
And young players have dips in form. It happens. And I'm sure he's looking at his situation last year thinking, I can get back to my best. And kick on.
And had the transfer speculation surrounding him as well, which must have been a distraction.
Yeah, and Brighton probably didn't have the strongest season that they wanted, so there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah, Form is temporary, isn't it? Class is permanent. Glenn is wondering about the striker position. He asked, should United offload Joshua Zirkzee, possibly bring in an Ivan Toney type signing? Jean-Philippe Mateta as well, he's floated as an alternative. So where do we think Manchester United are in terms of the striker position, and what should they be looking at doing?
I think they strengthened last year. They needed to strengthen the midfield up, which would potentially create more chances for their attacking players. And I think that's the main point that they've done now, where they've built that midfield, and it's going to let the attackers they have there improve and flourish a little bit more. So I don't know about offloading or going for a Toney or Mateta. That probably won't suit the style that Michael Carrick wants to play. And if you look at the transfers they're making this year, it seems like they have a bit more of a plan, so they're not just going to offload for the sake of getting another body in.
I think they want to get rid of Zirkzee, though. I think that was the plan, was always to get rid of him this summer. He's been linked with moves the last couple of years, hasn't he? He's been a bit part player. You know, Napoli are looking at him to potentially come in as well as one of their striker alternatives, although they're also looking at other players. So it's a case of, if they can get rid of him, that might actually help them strengthen other positions as well.
OK, another United fan, also called Joshua. I assume there is more than one person called Joshua who supports Manchester United. He says, why won't Man United sign a centre-back? We've needed one for years. Maguire is good, but too slow. Martinez is injury-prone. De Ligt is injured. Euro and Heaven are too young. Does he have a point? Do they need a centre-back? Yeah,
they need to freshen up. It's sort of what I alluded to there. The defence now needs new faces. I know they think really highly of Heaven and Euro, but like you said, they are really young, and then the players around them are injury prone or getting to the latter stages of the career where they are slowing down. So if they could find someone who suits them, it'd be well and good. But like I said, they'll have a plan. They'll be monitoring players. It's who fits the manager's style.
It's always interesting, isn't it, that almost discrepancy between what the fans want to see and what the process and the strategy is of the club.
I think the interesting thing, United, if you talk about centre-back, is the age profile as well, because they've got two young players in Euro and Heaven. So they don't want to go out and sign another player at the sort of start of their sort of Premier League journey. And if they don't want to go out and sign a veteran, because they've got plenty of veterans already in that team. So they go and sign a player in the prime. That's when they get really expensive. So actually, that might be really difficult for them to go out and get the player that they think can actually improve that position.
Yeah, and not just because I'm Irish, but like if you look at someone like a Nathan Collins, who is young enough, he's been in the Premier League for a long time, he's done really well at Brentford. The next step for him is to one of the bigger clubs. No disrespect to Brentford, and he'd be someone I think you can probably get cheaper than probably foreign players or something like that. So I don't know why teams aren't looking at him.
Interesting. You just put him on the radar for a few.
You can thank me for that later.
Keith Andrews can be living with you.
Yeah, Keith Andrews won't be impressed, but he might thank you. Max is wondering about the midfield, and actually in particular Kobe Mainoo. He asked, how is Mainoo going to fit into the system alongside Tielemans, Andre Santos and Bruno Fernandes?
It is a funny one, because it seems like when Carrick came in, he backed him, played him in all the games, and was saying he's our man for the future. And now they've signed players in his position, and you don't really know how he's going to fit in. I know they have more games this year, but I know from from my career, you want to play every game and get into a rhythm. If you're just in and out of the team, it's hard to get going and show your best. So it'll be really difficult if he's not given 5-6 games in a row.
The profile, though, of signing Baleba is different, isn't he? Tielemans and Santos, who they've signed, kind of are a little bit more ball players. Sort of they're expected to lie deep, whereas Baleba can get a bit more athleticism, I suppose, into the midfield, and that's what some fans wanted at United. Somebody to play alongside Kobe Mainoo, so he didn't have to do too much running and can just be the ball player and the line breaker that he's best at doing. So maybe they're looking at that going, actually, these two could be our centre midfield, or one of the options we can play in centre midfield for the next 5, 6, 7 years together.
We've had a question already about United signing a centre-back or not having signed a centre-back. We've had quite a few as well about left-back options. Edward is asking, why are United not signing a left-back when you look at sort of where Luke Shaw is and what they've got available?
Yeah, well, they've obviously tried with Lewis Hall, and I don't blame them for going for him. I think he's possibly one of the best left-backs in the league, and you can see why Newcastle are holding on to him. Shaw did play a lot of games last year, and I know people say he's not reliable, but he ended up churning out a lot of games. So are they thinking he'll do the same again this year and they wait until the perfect left back comes available? That might be what they're thinking.
Okay, certainly a theory. Anton, anything to add?
No,
Man United?
I just think they've been quoted prices that they don't want to pay a left back as well. They wanted Lewis Hall. Newcastle said we've already sold some players, so no, unless you offer us silly money. And United don't have silly money at the moment, so they're probably just going to wait to the market sort of when clubs have made their decisions on some players and make a move then. But I can't see them get on some players. Signing a left-sided defender, I really can't.